Hello, beautiful people. This is MB coming to you today with love, peace, and positivity and sending it your way. So, I have a few questions for you. Are you tired of being broke during the holidays? Are you tired of being stressed and depressed? Or just tired of being tired? Well, stay tuned. I have some good news for you. So, before I get into the topic, I want to share a little bit about my background. So, when I was younger, during my childhood years, I grew up partially in a lower class household and a middle class household. And everything that I was taught was really helpful, but not really beneficial, especially when it came to my finances. I grew up in a hardcore Christian household with working parents, and a lot of things that I did or a lot of things that I learned was from what I observed them doing. But the point that I'm trying to make here is a lot of times we grow up with ideas and traditions that we feel is normal, but when you learn to think outside of your circle or your what does Pastor Hagen like to say, your circumference of awareness, then you begin to be more aware and wiser with the decisions that you make throughout life. So for me, I pretty much took that information, all the things that I learned during my childhood, and I applied it in my life. So then I became a hardcore Christian. I pretty much stayed active in church, and I worked hard, and I lived check to check, trying to make ends meet, pretty much like my parents and grandparents. So I recently looked at my bank statement, and I was like, wow, where does all the money go? And it becomes frustrating when you, no matter how many hours you put in, no matter how many hours you work, it just seems like it's hard to save a buck or two. So I had to come up with a game plan. I said to myself, I have to do something different, and I need to do it quickly because it just doesn't make sense, that I do cover all my bills, but it's pretty much it, nothing left to really save. So, and if many of you can relate, you understand that it gets to be very depressing because you can't do anything extra. You can't really enjoy or reap the benefits of everything that you worked hard for. So, with that being said, I know that the holidays are coming around, they're coming up very soon, and many people are really planning and trying to enjoy this American tradition. So, before I really go into details about why I decided to have a change of plans or a different mindset, I will say this. Sometimes when you go through a spiritual awakening, it does come with pros and cons. I'm going to be honest with you. And a lot of the traditions, a lot of the things that was passed down to you, including myself, you realize you got to throw it all out the window. So because a lot of the things that you learn, you realize it doesn't really serve you or help improve your lifestyle. I mean, it varies from person to person. I'll just put it that way. When you learn more about your history and you realize that a lot of things that us melanated people, the things that we do today, and we don't realize, okay, where did this idea come from? Where did this belief system come from? If you don't take out the time to question that, then you'll be caught up in a whirlwind of foolishness. So with with the holidays, I did I did research a lot of the holidays because a lot of my extra money go towards the holidays. I find myself spending almost $200 on a Thanksgiving meal. I find myself spending 2 grand on Christmas items and trying to plan a mini dinner for New Year's Eve, and then following that I'm spending $200-300 on Valentine's, trying to go out, trying to buy special gifts, and it just went on. I found myself spending a lot of money year after year after year. So I looked up the history of the American holidays, and then I discovered that many of those holidays have a very negative background. And what I mean by that is when, like I've mentioned in my other video, when you realize that the Europeans created so much that still exists till this day, it is not necessarily meant for you to follow through with it. So with Thanksgiving, we already know that it's surrounded around some false information. We already know that there were people living in America before Christopher Columbus brought us behind over here and killed everybody off. We already know that Christmas have a hidden meaning, and it doesn't have anything to do with a baby Jesus. And a lot of it is copied. A lot of the information is copied from Egyptian information. And there were holidays or celebrations created during the Roman or Greco-Roman ruling time, like Lupercilla. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing it right. I don't use this name every single day. What else? Santernella. All these holidays are still celebrated till this day, but it's more in a hidden way. So we may think it's all fun and games, but when they start hitting the pockets and then you start realizing some crazy mess going on because of these holidays, then you start to rethink the way you spend your money. So, and then not just that, the taxes. The government tax candy products and sugary beverages or alcoholic products. So if you are drinking having a drink for every holiday celebration, then that means you're spending extra money out to celebrate that holiday, plus the food or the type of desserts you add, with the holiday. And a lot of that you do not see when they send out taxes. A lot of that money you spent throughout the year is not really showing up in your taxes. And then we already know if you do go to church, because that Christmas holiday is all about, okay, everybody going to church, and New Year's going to church and paying your tithe. Many of those churches are tax exempt. So regardless to how much you try to budget, if you're into all of these American traditions, then you're going to find yourself broke, okay? Not only that, when you are constantly intaking a lot of these candies and sugar products, then you're going to put yourself at risk of having health issues. You're going to be obese, and obesity leads to diabetes, or build up a phlegm in your chest or in your lungs, and that is a culprit for the COVID-19. So these are some important things that you should consider. I know it's not always easy snapping out of it and changing up your routine, especially when your majority of your family did not go through the spiritual awakening yet. But I just wanted to share a few tips that I use to help me, save some money, and then still be able to have fun the way I want to have fun, not just because it's American tradition. So the first thing I will say is you have to change your mindset. It's not easy, but you have to have willpower and change your mindset and realize that if you want to achieve a goal, for an example, If you are living in the projects and you want to one day purchase a home without going through Section 8, or if you're riding a city bus and you want to one day save up for, a decent car to get you to point A to point B, then you will have to you will have to sacrifice some things in your life. And for an example, if you love going to the club, you might have to just pay to get in the club, but don't really spend a lot on alcoholic beverages. Or don't go to the club every week. Try to go every once in a while. You might be the type that love to have brand new Jordans, or a new pair of Jordans come out. You're the first to try to get it. I would wait until they're on sale, or try to see if I can find a better deal online. No, what else? Create your own traditions. Cut out a lot of those American traditions or holidays, and then focus on creating your own. Yeah, and also I want to add that when you take in a lot of sugary foods, it not only affects your health and your mood, it's an addiction. It's hard to really come off sugar, especially if you've been eating it for many, many years. And when you end up with medical issues behind eating the sugar foods and candy, or drinking sodas, large amounts of sodas, then you will end up having medical issues, and then that's more money coming out your pocket, because you have to go and pay for these medical visits, and hopefully your insurance will cover most of it. But between medical and dental payments, that's extra money that's going back into the government pocket. So to pretty much sum it all up, they push these commercials that program us to go and buy all this sweet stuff. I mean, if it's not buying cakes, pies, and desserts for Thanksgiving, it's making a gingerbread house full of candy for Christmas, or buying wine to celebrate New Year's to celebrate New Year's Day, and then chocolate candy for Valentine's Day, and then the chocolate bunny for Easter. And then if you just keep going on and on and on, and I ain't even mentioned anything about Halloween yet. It's like you're overloaded with sweets that you cannot stop eating. And then, that's, like I said, they're just making more money off us, and we don't realize it. So it's very important that we think wisely about the way we spend our money. Most of these holidays are geared around death. As I had to switch up, my battery went dead on me, but hopefully you guys can still see me okay. Now, as I was saying, that many times it is difficult to throw out all those American traditions and start your own, and I know I've been there, done that. But you have to be wise about spending your money, because you definitely don't want to be stuck in a situation, and you have to set goals. As I said before, it's not only important to save up to get out of debt, but you definitely want to be prepared for any natural disaster. I live in Florida, so I'm always trying to make sure I'm prepared for during hurricane season, because a couple of years back a hurricane hit us in Tampa, and although we didn't experience major floods, we went without lights for almost 2 weeks, and my food went bad in my refrigerator. And it was really difficult trying to entertain children without electronics. And then on top of that, we had to focus on eating canned goods. So when you're not prepared, these are the things you got to deal with. It can be stressful, challenging. So, and if I did not mention it already, it's very important to watch what you eat, because, the government or the powers that be, they like to push all these commercials and programs on us, and sugar is the main thing they push on us. And we know that they tax candy. Like I said before, they tax the candy and they tax sugary beverages. So that is extra money that's going in their pockets, with the money that they take out your paycheck and the money that you spend to decorate your place or buy festive items. So you just got to research the history of American holidays. You know, they were once called one name, and then eventually, as time went on, they went ahead and changed the names to many of these gruesome holidays. Much like they did with the Star Spangled Banner and the Pledge of Allegiance. We already know that it was meant for one group of people because it had a lot of negative racial comments and meanings behind these words, but then they changed it a little bit just so we can keep quiet and dumb enough to keep singing it and representing, the meaning of America. So, like I said, you have to wise up, create a foundation. I know it sounds like I'm all over the place, but it's just so much tied into these holidays y'all just don't know. And if you are a beginner just like me, I'm just waking up later in my years, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I need to make some changes, and I need to make sure that my people that I love, I need to look out for them, and I need to share this information with them just in case they're still asleep. Some people just really don't see themselves sacrificing anything. They feel like, oh, I already sacrificed enough. I buy my kids. I take care of my kids. So it's time for me to do for me. Yeah, that's, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but you don't want to go overboard. Just because you bought your kids some school clothes or took them to Chuck E. Cheese doesn't mean you got to go and spend almost $400 to $500 worth of Remy hair or Brazilian hair, or whatever kind of hair people, invest in. If you got some good hair, try to figure out how to be creative and take care of your own hair. I'm just saying, if you want to save a buck or two, this is for those who want to save some money. And then Jordans, instead of buying Jordans as soon as they come out, wait until they're on sale, or try to buy them every 6 months to twice a year. I mean, if you ain't out there playing no basketball and getting paid for it, it ain't nothing wrong with Shaqs. But I'm just saying, you don't have to get Shaqs, but it ain't too much, it ain't nothing wrong with some Shaqs. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't mean to laugh at the Shaqs, But, if you're good at playing basketball, it doesn't matter what kind of shoes or what's the name brand of the shoes, you just good at playing basketball regardless. All right, I'm moving on. So, the last thing I want to leave you guys with is, in order to be successful, you have to cut out a lot of this waste of money and waste of time. Do not put all your energy into something that's not yours. Find out your history. Find out the history of the things that represent America. You know what I mean? Love yourself and share and take care. Peace out.